Okay, good morning, everybody. And my topic today is TB12. And before we introduce this NFL legendary quarterback, let's give the respect to the Golden State Warriors and Stephen Curry. They won the championship. Okay, so here's my agenda. So first part is, who is Tom Brady? He's a legendary quarterback, and he was a former pro American football player. He is also the GOAT, and he has 7 Super Bowl champions, and he has 5 NFL Final MVP, and he has 3 NFL MVP, and he served in the New England Patriot for 20 years, and he left Patriot in 2020 and went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, Tom Brady. He was born in San Mateo in July 3rd, 1977, and he is the youngest and the only boy in his family. And compared to his sisters, he showed no talent in sports and poor physical conditions. And at the beginning, because he born in a sport family, so in the beginning he chose the baseball as his top pick sports, because a good basketball player don't really the physical uh, because a good basketball player don't have to be very tall or strong. But one day, his father took him to San Francisco. Took him to watch a San Francisco 70, 49 years games, and the day changed his life. In that game, the legendary quarterback in last century, Joe Montana, carried his team to win by his fantastic football skill. Young Brady was shocked by Montana's performance, and he decided to become a pro football player. And in his high school time, he played in the school's football and basketball team at the same time. But all of his attention was on the basketball. He was a really amazing catcher, and even there were a few MLB scouts were paying attention on him. But he back to football team in his senior year because their school's quarterback just left the football team. And after he graduated from the high school, there's no to his surprise, there's no any university team want to pick him. So he filmed his own self introductions clips and sent to many universities. And finally, he joined the Michigan Wolverines. In the university time, is Brad is probably the most rough time. In his two, by the way, Michigan University is the best university American football team in America. But in his first 2 years in Michigan, he can only assign the bench warmer due to there were 2 star quarterback in Michigan, Griese and Drasbach. But in his junior year, Griese left the school and became a pro. So now Brady can finally having games on field. But just in his junior year, there was a new young star joining Michigan, Drew Hansen. So in Brady's junior year, he had to train tirelessly to fight for the starting quarterback against Hansen. And fun fact is, their coach decided to put Brady to play the first quarter, Hansen played the second quarter, and who played better? The better one on the first half can play the second half. But Brady is more experienced than Hansen, so in the late time in his junior year, the Brady was like the 100% starting quarterback for the Michigan. And the game made Brady famous in his university time is 2000 years Orange Bowl. Orange Bowl is the most significant championship game in college football. And in 2000's Orange Bowl, Brady led Michigan to win over Alabama in overtime. In that game, Michigan was behind Alabama 14 points in second quarter. And by the way, NFL, you got a touchdown in NFL, you got 6 points. So they behind at least 3 plays. But Michigan won the 2000s Orange Bowl, and Brady was ready to join. And after Michigan won the 2000 Orange Bowl, Brady was ready to join the NFL. Again, the third part is the number 199 draft. In the 2000s NFL draft, Brady believed he was popular. He was so popular among the team, so he will be picked in the early round. But due to he has the worst combined score in NFL's history. So a lot of people still doubt his achievement because people think that what Brady was so good because Michigan system is good. So he only got picked by New England Patriot in the round 6 at number 199. But in his first pro season, he had no time to shine. Due to there's another superstar, Bledsoe, in Patriot. But luckily, in his second pro season, Patriot superstar Bledsoe was injured, and Brady's time finally came. In his second pro season, Patriot fought fearlessly and broke into the division round. And in their first game in the division round, it's like the off season of the NBA or MLB. There was a blizzard struck in New England, so they played the football in the blizzard. And in last wave attack in last quarter, the Patriot was behind the opponent. Brady made an error and they lost. Out of people's surprise, but after the referee watched the replay, they rejudge his play. They say that is not his error. That's his tactic to misleading opponent that he want to pass the ball. So they rejudged the play, and finally they won over that game and won that year's Super Bowl, and Brady won the final MVP. And after Brady made his name in the 2001 season, he built a Patriot dynasty. The Patriot won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and Brady also won another final MVP in 2003 season, and NFL MVP in 2007. And he also won the nickname Comeback Boy because he can always lead the Patriot to fight back and won the game. But no matter how good Brady was, people still doubt him. And in his time, he also can never win the title of the greatest quarterback or even MVP before 2007, because there's another legendary quarterback in his time. It's called Peyton Manning from the Indianapolis Colts. But in the 2007 season, the Patriot had the Patriot had a perfect season, and not only this, the Patriot also can also won up and over 20 points in every game in 2007 season. But the Patriot lost the Super Bowl to the Giants in that season. Although he was finally won the MVP, NFL MVP, but his career stepped down. And people start gossip that if Brady is that good, and they had a perfect season but lost the Super Bowl, and he torn the ACL in 2008, and there's also a Deflategate scandal in 2014, due to the time limitation that I can really tell the detail about the Deflategate and like that. And Patriot also had no any Super Bowl champ in a decade. In that year, he was 38. People started gossip if he was too old to play. Okay, but in 2017 Super Bowl, Brady made his name again. The Patriot was behind the Falcon 25 points in the first half, but Brady again lead the Patriot to show an epic comeback to the world, and he's back. And after that season, he won his sixth Super Bowl champion. But even he won a sixth champion personally, the New England Patriots still doubt that Brady is not that good due to their strong system. So Brady can be that good. So Brady just left the Patriot at in 2020. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and in his first year in the Buccaneers, he won the 7th Super Bowl champ, and he became the GOAT. Okay, so the conclusion is, seems like it's bullshit that every time those sports players, always every time that sports player always tell people that never give up and practice makes perfect. I want to show my personal experience because I play the rugby team for NCCU. I can tell you that if you really take sports very seriously, the training is so hard that will make you want to quit this sports. But I think if you have the eager to if you have the eager to win the championship, I think the most motivation you can have is just never to give up, and you just have to be really hungry to the champion or the number one title, or you will give up and you will lose your motivations, and no one can define your limit. Although in Brady's career he was so good that, but everybody still doubt him, and he just slapped those people all the way. Okay, so that's my presentation. Thank you, and it's Q&A time.
Right. Thank you very much. I think Joseph has made a very informative presentation. So thank you for offering so much information about Tom Brady. So I believe that everyone will be convinced that he is truly the GOAT. Right. Again, I would like to invite questions or comments. I think we can maybe have two. So feel free to speak.
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Yes.
Do you watch the football game in your free time?
I actually don't watch the NFL game, and the reason I picked Tom Brady is because I play rugby, and I think rugby and football, the ball is like probably probably the oval shape, not round. So I just picked Tom Brady, and after I watched the NFL's role, I found that American football is way more different from the rugby. Yeah, but I think it's an interesting sport. Yeah, but it's kind of violence.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Charlotte. Okay. Very good. So maybe one more question or comment.
Hi, Joseph. Oh,
Okay, you go
Yes,
first.
please. Yeah, Angel.
yeah. Since you said you have played football, I wonder that which parts of training or practicing is the most difficult that you think?
You mean I'm in the rugby team? I think the
Yeah.
most the most physical demanding training is like I don't know which one is is the hardest, but I think all of our training is fucking hard. Like we train like over 20 hours a week before we play the intercollegiate athletic game, and we are like training 7 times a week. So basically, you every day you have to train, and sometimes you do the weight training, and sometimes you have to climb the stairs, the 综合院馆, from the first floor to the 16 floors, and you have to run the stair from the ground to the top like 6 times in the morning in 7 a.m. And before you went to the 综合院馆 at 7 a.m. you have to practice your pass or your movement, your feet movement at 6 a.m. in the field. And sometimes we practice 5 hours in Sunday. Yeah. So it's kind of tough. And it's super tough.
Wow, thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, but I think that's how we make Ironman, right? Out of the rugby team. That's why rugby
Yes.
team has been a very strong team among all the schools in Taiwan. All right, very good. So I think we just had another question or comment. I heard another voice.
It's me.
Yes, please.
Do you think Tom Brady's influence in Asia is relative is a bit little bit due to the minorities of people playing football?
Yeah, I agree that. Because in Asia, like people, only a few people play American football or rugby. I think rugby is more than American football. But I think outside the Asia, in the American, Tom Brady's influence is so big that probably everyone knows him. Because you know that the like 40% of America watch Super Bowl every year. So you can imagine the influence of Tom Brady. He's the 7 times champion.
Right. So thank you for the question, Mike. Yeah, I think Joseph has made a very again persuasive case. So we can see that I think what makes Tom Brady influential is that again, so he always tries his best and he always tries to jump at the chance and when the chance presents itself. Right. So thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. Right. So now we'll move on to Charlotte.